Hi, welcome back. Well, I went on winter break. I came back from winter break and I took makeup with me. You saw it on my Shop My Stash video, and if you didn't, you should go check it out. But most importantly, I used makeup. Also, I didn't use other makeup. So it's time for usage report. And yes, this is not the bag that you saw on Shop My Stash. There's a reason for it. So we'll talk about it. I will lay out all the makeup that I took with me on my winter break holiday, what I used, what I didn't use, what happened, things that weren't featured on that video and are gonna be on this one. So let's get started. So as I mentioned, if you remember my Shop My Stash video, you're gonna think that you saw another makeup bag that I took on my holiday, and that is correct. But my husband got me this for Christmas, and it's amazing because it has a mystery machine. Also adorable because it has all the Scooby-Doo characters, and we love Scooby-Doo in this house. This is from the Scooby-Doo and Glamlight collection. On the first release of this collection, this was actually quite popular, so I wasn't expecting for him to be able to find it in the restock or anything like that, but he did. I didn't say that I actually wanted this, but he found it because my husband's amazing and will do anything to make me happy. But this one is just a little bit less structured. So when you're packing to return home and you're not making any sense of your packing because you're just going back home and it's gonna be unpacked and washed and put away, etc., you just dump things in and it is what it is, okay? So this is actually quite a roomy bag, which I love about it. It fit everything that I took, which is nice. And there are even some extra things like hotel samples and stuff. And I mean, there were makeup brushes here, and there are some of the things that I took here. But yeah, it fits everything really comfortably. So let's lay everything out in two sides, used and not used, and talk about how things went down. So over here on the left, I have everything that I used. And on the right, over here, everything that I didn't use, plus 2 new items. But most of the stuff I did use. So we'll talk about each of them and why I choose to take them and use them. The only thing that is not here is my Sigma Renew Lip Oil in tint, which is back in my school bag, but I did use that like a bunch. And you know, it's a very easy nude brown lip oil. So of course I used it, and of course I used it a bunch. It's very comfortable. So let's just go over all of these items over here on the used pile, or should we go over the I didn't use pile? Actually, yes, let's go over I didn't use because it makes more sense and there are fewer items on that side. First off, let's start with these 2 mini In The Zone body lotions from the brand This Works. I've used this brand before. I used their lavender sleep cream. It's really, really nice. And this one smells like kind of lemongrass and eucalyptus. But most importantly, it's a really lightweight body lotion. So I'm keen on having some to keep using. So I brought them with me. Let's not discuss it too much further. Then I have my 2 Becca lipsticks, shades Sable and Cranberry. Let me give you some swatches of these. Okay, so here are the swatches of Sable to the left and Cranberry to the right. So one is warmer, one is more neutral, one is more brick brown terracotta, the other one is more like a cranberry red. And I didn't use them because I didn't really feel like it. They're perfectly fine lipsticks and I really like a satin finish and the Becca formula is really nice. I just didn't feel like using this kind of lipstick and I didn't, but I use these all throughout the school year. So it was just a mood thing. I didn't use them because I didn't want to. But I don't know. I feel like maybe I should have known that that was gonna happen because when I'm traveling, I'm not up for a super structured lip like what those lipsticks provide. This is my Kokie Prep Up eyeshadow primer. I put it in the didn't use category because I honestly don't remember if I did. Maybe on Christmas Day for Christmas brunch, maybe. But again, it's the same story. I wasn't doing super intense eye looks. And even in the moments when I did, I felt like my eyeshadow was holding on pretty well. So I just didn't feel like I need to use an eyeshadow primer. I wasn't gonna be in challenging environments. So I'm pretty sure that I didn't use this. Then we have my mini of the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I was convinced that I was gonna use this one because I really, really enjoy the formula and the blurred effect that it gives me, but I didn't use it because I just decided to favor a different primer. This is good. I just, again, didn't feel like I needed it, so I didn't use it. This is the Huda Beauty Silk Balm in Blushed. It is a really, really nice lip gloss. I may have used it once, maybe I did, but again, I don't remember, which means that I probably didn't. It's a clear lip gloss on me. You can't even see it there because the light is really not ideal. There you go. You can see some of the glistening and the wet part of it. Right here, there it is. It provides a lot of shine and it's really comfortable on the lips, but I can't really remember that I used it. If I used it, maybe I used it once, but I can't remember using it consistently, so I'm gonna put it in the category of didn't use it. And this is a lip gloss that I really need to make an effort to use more, which I don't understand why. No, I do know why I don't use it more. It's because the smell is kind of chemical and weird, but it is a very, very nice lip gloss, so I need to use it more. That's the reality. And last but not least, we have this ColourPop Lippy Pencil. Focusing is not gonna be on my side today. And this is a shade Control. Very dark brown. This is a very dark brown. Like my plan was, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like a dark brown and I'm gonna top it with a lip oil. Well, I did the lip oil part, but nothing else. So here are all of the products that I didn't use and the samples that I brought back with me. Not bad considering how much makeup I actually took with me. All right. Time to get real. Let me talk to you about how things went down with all of these makeup products that I took or received, and I actually used at least once. Okay, so here are all the products that I took on my trip or that I got on my trip and I actually used. So I think I'm gonna start with my most used product, and then I'm just gonna go by categories. So my most used product of this entire stash was my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. It was my primer of choice, and it actually even felt like my finishing my skincare kind of product. I use this every single time I did my makeup, and I used this every single time regardless of what kind of makeup look I was going for, whether it was a lighter one or a more full beat. I used this. You can see that there's some window in there. You can see that there's certainly a level of usage. I expect to finish this in this first quarter of 2024 because I love it. To me, it's an irreplaceable product. Like, I'm curious really if there actually is a dupe, but it is a perfect primer that gives you everything that you want. A flawless skin, luminosity, a perfected complexion. You get it all with this product, and it was my most used product on this stash. Next up, let's go with fragrance. I took my travel size fragrances. I have the YSL Libre and I have my Angel Share by Kilian. I use both. Basically, the way that I used it was that my Libre was kind of my everyday fragrance and the Angel Share was my nighttime fragrance. Like, I wore this on Christmas Day. Every time I would go to like a bar for drinks, I would wear this one. This was my nighttime / date night fragrance kind of thing. And then Libre was the fragrance that I was using most regularly. Love both of these. You can see that my Libre is getting down there. I will be, if I had to guess, this is gonna be a Q1 empty for this year. And then Angel Share, I'm about halfway through, but I love both of these. Of course I use them. Let's go with a low-hanging fruit and move on to mascara. I had my Tower 28 Make Waves mascara, which is an excellent product. It is a great mascara, and this is actually on its last legs. In the times that I've used it after December, like it's kind of clumping down and falling on my lower lashes, on my under eyes. So I think it's time for it to go. I opened it sometime in late September, if I remember correctly, so it's right about there. So I'm actually gonna call this a January empty right now because it's past its prime and I've had it open for long enough. But of course, every time I did my makeup, I wore this mascara, and I should because it's excellent. Let's move on to concealers because it was the only one that I took as well. This is my Hourglass Vanish Concealer in Flax. I used it every time I did my makeup because it's my favorite concealer of all time. It was also the only concealer that I had. So of course I had to use it, but I absolutely love this product. It provides a beautiful coverage, very friendly towards mature eyelids or mature under eyes, sorry. So yeah, took it, use it, love it, still my favorite. Nothing else to say. We don't need to really spend a lot of time here because you've heard me talk about how much I love this concealer ad nauseum, but of course I used it. Of course I used it. Let's keep going with things that I only took one of. Let's go with my brows. So I took my Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder. I used shade 5. Look at that massive pan. My goal is to make it one continuous pan this year. So I'm really working on that middle bridge there so that I can just make it one continuous pan all throughout the thing. I really like the finish of this. I know that Benefit doesn't make this product like this anymore, so we'll see how much longer I keep it. It seems to be working just fine, but of course I used it every time I did my eyebrows. Let's talk about eyeliners next. I took 2 eyeliners and I used both. One is my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide eyeliner in Demolition, and the other one is my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal eyeliner in Ash. Is this called Ash? Is it? Rats. What are you called? Ash. Okay, which is like kind of like a charcoal graphite gray. I use both, but I use the Victoria Beckham more often because, again, I've talked about this before. The Victoria Beckham formula is more modulable, so you can do like more gradients of color with it. So I used it more often, but I use both, and I'm still making progress in my Urban Decay. I actually had to sharpen it while we were there. Let me show you how small it is right now. So this is what's left of the Urban Decay. I don't think that is gonna be used up in Q1, but it would be nice. But I think it will be finished probably this calendar year, which I'm very, very excited about. But bottom line, I use both of the eyeliners that I took. Next up, we need to talk about this e.l.f. lip liner. I think I used it once. It's like a brick red kind of color, and I don't have a lot left in it. Let me show you what it looks like shade-wise. So this is just about how much I have left of the lip liner itself. And here's a swatch. Sorry, it's kind of dark in my room, but it is a darker, more terracotta kind of red. So I use it with my Givenchy lipstick in shade 37, but I only used it once because I only did a red lip once. Next, let's go with powders. To my bottom left, you have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Finishing Powder in shade 310. And then to the right, you have my new LYS Triple Fix Setting Powder in Ambition, which is their medium shade. Used both. The Charlotte Tilbury, well, as you can see by the gigantic pan, I love it. And the LYS is a new favorite. It is a gray powder that gives a really beautiful blurring mattifying finish on the skin. I expect to finish this quite quickly. I think that you can already see some use in this pan. I use this every time I did my makeup along with the Charlotte Tilbury. So the way that I'm using these together is I'm using the LYS all over my face and then the Charlotte Tilbury in my under eyes and my smile lines. But yes, I use both and the LYS is a new favorite, which is great. Next up, we have my Pat McGrath lip balm in Wild Cherry. There is a swatch. Look how juicy that looks. It's a pretty juicy red, very much gives you I ate a popsicle kind of lips, and that's how much I have left of this lip balm. It is very nourishing, but you get a lot of pigmentation. I used it a couple of times during the trip, but like less than 5 times. But I still used it like basically every time I wanted like an unstructured red lip, you know, that very easy I ate a popsicle kind of thing. Yes, I used this red, which reminds me that there's another lip product that I took on my trip and it's not here because it's already in my school bag and already in use, which is my Clinique lipstick in Almost Lipstick in Black Honey. Used it a ton. It was probably the lip product that I used the most. And you know, the fact that I couldn't wait to film this video and I already took it out of this stash to put on my school bag, I think is testament to the fact that I really, really love it. It's a great, great product. NARS Laguna Cream Bronzer, shade Laguna 03. I took it and I used it a couple times, but I definitely didn't use it as much as I thought I was going to. Because I think that what happens when I'm traveling is that I go more for just blush as opposed to blush with bronzer. But maybe what I need to do one day is just use the bronzer as a blush and just kind of diffuse it really well so that I can get like a really bronzed cheek. But I did use it. I just used it maybe a little bit less than I expected because I didn't use it every single time I did my makeup, but I did use it. Okay, let's move on to complexion. I took my NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. It's laying down, but you can see that there are some windows in there. This is the shade Joaquin, and then my Tower 28 Sunny Days Tinted Sunscreen in the shade Silver Lake. I basically used my Tower 28 sunscreen every time I wanted like light coverage and not a lot of makeup and was going for like a more no makeup look, and then I used the NARS foundation every time that like I did my makeup for real. Basically that's how it went. I was hoping I could finish the Tower 28 during the trip, but then while we were like hiking in Petra, I was not using this as a sunscreen. I was using more of like a proper sunscreen, so I didn't use this a number of days, but then every time I did my makeup, then I was using the NARS foundation. But I took both of these, and yeah, I used both of these, I would say more than 5 times. Let's talk about highlighters for a minute. Here are the 3 highlighters, at least solo highlighters that I took. My 2 Beauty Light ones from Charlotte Tilbury. These usually come in a set, sorry. Spotlight and Pinkgasm, used both. Spotlight may be my favorite liquid highlighter of all time. I love it. And I used it basically every time I wanted a gold sheen subdued highlighter. And then Pinkgasm I used a lot with my Tower 28 blush as like the luminous topper. And then every time I wanted like a fun highlighter or an impactful highlighter, I used this one, which is the Kaleidos highlighter, Space Age highlighter in Gifted, and it's a multi-chrome highlighter. I wish you could see the shifts, but it goes from pink to green. But yes, I use all of my highlighters on this trip. And well, since I just mentioned it, here's my Tower 28 Beach Please blush in Magic Hour. I used it almost every time I did my makeup, and as you can see, I'm getting right to the rim. I would love to finish this on the first quarter of the year. I did use it today again, and I'm noticing that the formula is getting sticky in a way that it wasn't sticky before, which is leading me to believe that it's drying down and I need to hurry up. But you can tell, I use this all the time. I'm getting down there. I just have to keep using it. 2 lip products kind of in a similar shade family. One is the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Lip Oil in Rose Quartz, and the other one is the Fenty Beauty Cream Gloss Balm in Fenty Glow. I use both of these, but I use the e.l.f. lip oil more because it's more comfortable and more hydrating. But I use both of these during the trip at different times, but definitely use the lip oil more. I need to use this gloss more, but these like very pink, because this is quite pink lip glosses, those are kind of challenging for me. We're almost there, folks. We basically only have 2 categories of products here. And if you are still here, I really, really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe so that you can keep track of my makeup shenanigans and keep seeing my usage of makeup, not only on my regular days, but also when I travel and my stash is all I have. I'm gonna kind of make that a bigger focus of the channel throughout 2024. I also took, of course, my Hourglass Ambient Light Powder for this year. This is the palette number 3. I got it in the jellyfish package, and I used pretty much everything. I used all of the blushes at different times. I used the finishing powder. I used the bronzer. I used the highlighter. It's a perfect travel palette, and it has a variety of shades, a variety of finishes, and pretty much every cheek product that you need. So I took it, I used it, still love it. Moving on, let's get to the eyeshadows. Let's see if I can open these. Bit of an accident here. I dug my finger into that shade when I was trying to open it. Oh boy, that's like occupational hazard of trying to open things with one hand. So those are all the eyeshadow palettes that I took. You saw this one, and these 2 in the Shop My Stash video. This was a surprise. This was a gift from my husband for Christmas. It's the Glam Light and Scooby-Doo palette in Rah Rah Raggy, and I used all the shimmers, I can tell you that much. And then the only matte that I didn't use was the kind of avocado green in the middle. I am very impressed with the Glam Light formula, okay? The mattes are very, very easy to work with, but you get great color payoff. And the shimmers are the kind of shimmers that go from 0 to kapow in very little time. So if you want high impact shimmers and really fun, colorful mattes that deliver on the color payoff, highly recommend that you check out the Glam Light formula. I would say just like wait for your favorite character or your favorite food theme, because I think that for the most part, they started as a food theme makeup company, and then pick that palette. Some of them do sell quite fast, so you kind of have to keep an eye out for that. But Glam Light is pretty affordable. I also love that Miss Giselle, the owner of Glam Light, is either Dominican or half Dominican, but she definitely has Dominican heritage. Love her for that. But I am very, very impressed with the formula. And I'm definitely open to trying more Glam Light in the future because this palette is very, very good. Next up, we have this Pat McGrath Nude Allure palette. This was part of the Holiday 2022 collection, and it's a 5-pan, 4 shimmers, 1 matte. These are very creamy, soft shimmers, but you can create, sorry, I'm just trying to flick off the rest of that eyeshadow in there. There it is. You can create really impactful looks with just these. This was my palette of choice for one and done shadow looks. I used it several times for like going sightseeing or to get lunch or going down to the beach bar, that kind of thing. Next up, we have these 2 single shadows from Glaminatrix. These are both from the Glimmering Creatures bundle. I can see that the left one, which is kind of like a lilac kind of shade, lilac pink, shattered. Again, not the first time this happened, so I'll repress it properly with isopropyl alcohol. I do have some. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I had to do an express repress this week of my Mini Becca Champagne Pop, so I'm gonna have to work on that on this shade from Glaminatrix so I can repress it properly. These are very, very impactful metallics. One of my, probably my favorite metallics formula that was new to me that I tried in 2023. Really, really, really beautiful looks. Every time I've used these shadows, love them. And these 2 are pretty easy to travel with. I just think that this one, since it had shattered before and it wasn't properly repressed, I just didn't think it through, and well, it suffered a little bit, so I'm just gonna repress it properly with alcohol, and maybe this one will sit out the next Shop My Stash just to make sure it has time to recover. But I took both and I used both. And last but certainly not least, we have Shadow Kiss from Alter Ego. This was the palette that I used for Christmas Day. I used it a bunch of other times after that. And again, like, this is a neutrals, cool neutrals dream, really. I think that the only shade that I've used, this is the shade that I've used the least probably, Zeal. And then the shade that I've used the most is Vanish. I've also used Desire a whole bunch. The mattes in this palette are really, really good. Probably my favorite mattes from Alter Ego, from the 3 palettes of the brand that I've tried. I've also used Shroud a whole bunch. It's probably one of my favorite shimmers here. It's really, really good. But if you want a cool neutrals palette at a more affordable price point, this one doesn't disappoint. I really, really like the formula. It's probably my favorite overall palette from the 3 that I've tried from Alter Ego. And it travels really, really well. It's, again, one of the other things that I've said before about the Alter Ego packaging is that it's like really thin but sturdy enough that should something happen, it shouldn't get shattered. I used it a bunch of times. It's probably one of my favorite palettes to travel with because cool neutrals usually go well. And there you have it. So these products from my last Shop My Stash for my winter break holiday were the products that I used, which is the vast majority of the ones that I took. I enjoyed doing my makeup with all of these products. I enjoyed having a new palette to add to my collection, especially because it was a new indie brand to me. Thank you, husband. You're the best. I love you so much. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the result of the selection of products that I did for my 2-week winter holiday. This kind of content will continue, me choosing my makeup for travel, then telling you what I use. I hope that you like it. If you do, please consider giving this video a thumbs up so that if other people like it too, they can find this video in the big well of YouTube content that is out there. Thank you once again for joining me in my makeup adventures, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.